Mafia Old Country was one of the games that I was looking forward the most to play this summer. At a time when most of the industry seems determined to expand maps and inflate the numbers of side activities with gigantic designs and endless objectives, Hangar 13 delivered personally what I always expect on any game of the Mafia series. A deeply human story rooted in history, culture, and emotion. What makes Mafia Old Country so great, and why do I think those type of games are essential to video game culture and its industry? Welcome to the series The Genius Of, and today for the first time we're gonna talk about a video game. Let's talk about Mafia, the Old Country. This is not a video about the Mafia series, but to give you some context, the first Mafia was released back in 2002, first for PC and 2 years later for the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. Set within the fictional American city of Lost Haven during the 1930s, following the rise and fall of the taxi driver turned mobster Tommy Angelo within the Salieri crime family. Mafia is heavily inspired the movies of The Godfather and Goodfellas, and it was written by Daniel Vavra and directed by him and Peter Wojtka. Sorry about my Polish. Although I did not play the original version, I ended up playing the remake Mafia Definitive Edition in 2020, developed by 2K, and they really did a great job to transport the iconic game into this new generation. Chronologically, it was followed by Mafia 2 and Mafia 3, and each game deserves a video of its own.
We wanted to create a game that would allow the player to experience the lifestyle of a mobster during the times of Prohibition, and all that was part of it. The player will be able to live through everything connected with the 30s, including wild car chases, shootouts, bootlegging, racketeering, even assassination.
The Old Country was released in August of 2025, 9 years after the last chronological game of the series, Mafia 3. The game works as a prequel for the series and is set in Sicily, an island in the central Mediterranean Sea and one of the 20 regions of Italy, situated in the south of the country. During the 1900s, around a fictional town of San Celeste, with a story based around the origins of the Sicilian Mafia.
I got to tell you, the Sicilian Mafia back then, they were brutal, no question about it, you know.
Starting in 1904, the narrative follows Enzo Favara, portrayed by the actor Riccardo Frascati, who journeys from a childhood of labor in the mines as a caruso, a word that was used to denote a mine boy or a laborer in the sulfur mines, in Sicily's mines, to joining Don Bernardo Turrisi, portrayed by Johnny Santiago, the head of the Turrisi crime family.
It was through a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, that received the audition. And then next time I see him, he comes up to me and he's like, hey, Ricardo, by the way, I just received this audition for this voiceover project. It appears to be a video game. And they said they're looking for an Italian guy that is native in Italian and is between 20 to 25 years old. And he's like, do you want to do it? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? So like he sent me the scenes and I shot it. I did a self-tape and I sent it over to him. He sent it over to his agents. You know, and then eventually they got back to me a few weeks later saying that they wanted to see me again. And so we did a second audition. And then probably like a month into like this whole process, that's when they called me and they said they wanted to book me and they wanted me to be the new lead.
Playing Don Torrisi was definitely an honor. He is a very complex and conflicted man with a brutal, animalistic core, which made it so much fun.
Enzo's story is a classical rise from the bottom mob saga, which is somehow a standard for all the games of the series. And apart from Enzo and Don Torrisi, characters like Isabella Torrisi, daughter of Don Torrisi and Enzo's love, Luca Trapani, a member of the Trapani family and involved with the Torrisi's activities, the legend Leo Galante, returning character from the previous Mafia games connected with the Torrisi family, Tino Russo, the closest confidant and advisor of Don Torrisi, Cesare Massaro, also involved in the Torrisi's criminal activities, Ruggiero Spadaro, the head of Spadaro crime family, a rival to the Torrisi family, and the main antagonists are characters that are portrayed of most of the Mafia adaptations, not only in video games but movies and TV shows. But even though it feels like a cliche story, the game develops and executes these premises really well. I won't give any spoilers, but there are a lot of twist moments that I wasn't expecting, and I like the end, even though it can be disappointing for some people. During the gameplay, there's no rush to get things done, especially at a start, even with its short length, around 12 to 15 hours, depending how long you explore. Most of the chapters focus on a long cutscene, followed by either stealth, driving, riding a horse, combat with guns, or with a knife, the newest addition to the series, and that's pretty much it. It's a gameplay that it's a mix of all the Mafia games combined, and even though I'm not trying to make this video a game review, I'll say that there's nothing fresh or new to the gameplay, but everything's done in a decent way and nothing really bothered me. Whoa, if you're staying tuned now, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Then you go back to play Mafia Old Country, but finish this video first and then you can go back there. But anyways, let's continue with the video.
We wanted to start up a whole new story arc for the Mafia series. And so what better way than to go back to the very start of Mafia? What's really nice about this game, I think, is for new players who are jumping on for the first time, they don't need to have played any other Mafia games. But for players who have played the other games, there are links and certain Easter eggs and character hints and that kind of stuff in there, which links it all together. And it just felt like a good place to start. The origin of organized crime, the origin of the franchise itself, whilst also setting things up for the future. And also, I think, one of the things we always look at with Mafia is, we're letting players play the mob movie, and we've done the big American crime cities, and it's felt like a really unique, but very appropriate place to go to. We thought it'd be a beautiful environment to make a game in, which, as you said, it has been, and it's just a unique story, I guess. So I think that was just some of the things. It gives gameplay opportunities that, if we'd gone to another city, it might have, not given us the opportunity to do what we've done in this game, and also in the future, who knows where we'll go next. But this felt like a really appropriate place to kind of kick things off in this next story arc.
The graphics are not compared with the new generation, which reflects on the initial price of the game on its release date, which is okay because much of the immersion owns itself to two elements that the game executes brilliantly: its soundtrack and its voice acting. The score of the musical immersion, sweeping orchestral arrangements with authentic folk influences from that period, allowing every scene to resonate with mood and atmosphere, combining with the voice acting that deserves particular praise.
I like the boobies, Pensa, macho, my fucking ears. Give me one and a lovely breeze.
The developers went to great lengths to cast actors capable of delivering both authentic accents and emotional nuances. And that's a crucial part of games that focus on narratives and cinematic gameplays. At its core, the game isn't perfect, but Hangar 13 has not only revitalized the Mafia series, but also reaffirmed the importance of story-first design in modern gaming by marrying historical authenticity with masterful storytelling, reinforcing by music and performance of the highest quality. Mafia Old Country is a short and sweet, and it proves that even in a saturated market, a game with beating heart and carefully crafted story can make some impact. And tell me, what's your experience with Mafia Old Country? Mafia the Old Country is a classic example why narrative-driven games remain essential to the industry. While I can appreciate the scope of massive open-world titles, like so many, nowadays most of the games need to be open or just for the sake of being open world. Many of them seek endless content instead of a good story. Games like Old Country and literally any of the Mafia series games, even the 3, are honestly my favorite style of game that unfortunately seems to be dying year after year. Linear games with great narratives like Alan Wake, Life is Strange, God of War, Gears of War, A Plague Tale, The Last of Us, and many others are great examples in how immersion is not measured in square miles and how big it is, but It is in the power of storytelling and gameplay. The atmosphere and visuals are also an important piece of the immersion. From Mount Etna to coastal roads, vineyards, small village, rustic farmhouses, plaza, and the main house where the most of the story develops, everything brings an old Italian mafia vibe that only those games can bring. And the game even has a Italian Sicilian dialect for the audio that I loved. And even though it's not the same, it put my Italian Duolingo practice trick to the test. Thanks so much for watching this video that comes from a fan to another fan. It's the first time I talk about video game on this channel, but I had a good time. I like it. Let me know in the comments what you think about Mafia Old Country, what you think about the Mafia series, and if you want to see those type of videos over here, there's plenty of stuff there I like to talk about it, and I'm enjoying doing it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, share with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video.